Joy. No joy. Joy. No joy. Hi, it's Carrie with Picasso Cat Treasures. Have you been reading these two books lately? Have you been watching the Netflix series Tidying Up with Marie Kondo? Well, a lot of people are doing just that, and a lot of items are flooding into the Goodwill outlets and any kind of charity that accepts clothes or anything else around the house. But how can you cash in on the KonMarie craze as a reseller? If you're new to my channel, thanks for tuning in. I generally do almost nothing but reselling videos. I have a few other things I do, but I'm a reseller on eBay, Amazon, Poshmark, and Facebook Marketplace, and really anywhere else that I can sell items. And one of the things that's really catching fire right now, if you catch social media at all, is the KonMarie craze. And this was a book written several years ago by a young woman who's talking about the magic of tidying up. And I want to talk about how you can hook onto this trend and make it work for you as a reseller. If you like this channel, go ahead and please subscribe and give this a like, and that way I'll know to create more content like this. As a reseller, how can you cash in on this craze going through the nation? Well, I have 4 tips for you. Ever since Marie Kondo authored her first book, The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, and especially since Netflix just started a new series called Tidying Up with Marie Kondo, there has been a wave of people going through all of their stuff to get rid of everything they don't need or anything that doesn't spark joy. But just because it doesn't spark joy for them anymore doesn't mean it can't spark joy for somebody else, and especially make us very happy in our wallets. Since the premiere on Netflix of Tidying Up with Marie Kondo, charity shops across the United States have been inundated with a wave of donations. It's not just clothes being sorted through when people go through and tidy up their house with this method. I keep looking at my book. I've had my book for many years. It actually is everything. She wants you to go through and clean out basically everything. You get each category in a huge pile somewhere and you go through it and you hold it up, and if you don't absolutely need that item, like it's not your oxygen tank or something like that, it's not your insulin. If it's something that isn't an absolute necessity, you're supposed to hold it up and decide, does it spark joy in your heart? Because if it doesn't, you need to pass it along. You're supposed to thank it for doing what it's done in your life and then pass it on to somebody who might be able to use it. But that means that a lot of people are getting rid of a lot of stuff at one time. And before you get angry at me at saying, oh, grab it before it goes to the Goodwill, remember, most thrift stores across the United States are for-profit industries. They are there to make money. It depends on what they do with that money, but they're not necessarily a charity shop outright. Some are, but most aren't. And I can tell you by reading the news, they are not having any problem getting donations right now. So those of us who are resellers that are going to try to cut out the middleman of the thrift store are not doing a bad thing. We're just being enterprising. People who are cleaning out, especially with this particular method, are often overwhelmed and exhausted by the end of the process. In this method, you're supposed to pull all your clothes out at one time, every piece of clothing you have in the entire house. She says, sit and think, do you have anything in the attic? Do you have anything? Everything. And then you're supposed to pick it up and look at each piece. By the time most of us are done doing that, because I've done this method myself, we're exhausted. We bag it all up, and frankly, we just never want to see it again. And so they want a free, easy way to get rid of these items. And often that just means taking them to the Goodwill and going like this and feeling good about it. But some of them would actually like to make some money on some of these items, and I can understand that. So here's my idea, and I tested it out myself on Facebook Marketplace. I placed this ad on Facebook Marketplace just saying wanted. Are you cleaning out? Are you in the middle of a clean out? I buy in bulk and I pay in cash. After about 1 hour of having that up on Facebook Marketplace, I had to pull it down because I had too many responses. I already had committed to buying 2 huge lots of clothing. I had somebody just give me a bunch of clothing, and I had 2 other people that I still haven't actually met with but want to give me or sell all their clothing to me. So I had to take it down because I was going to be overwhelmed, but it was obviously something people wanted. So my very best advice is on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist or however you want to try it, put that particular ad in and make sure to say, I buy in bulk and I pay in cash. By doing that, I ended up with approximately 450 items of clothing, for which I paid $220 in cash. And trust me, where I live, the Goodwill sells every single shirt for $7 and up. $7 and up used. That person, instead of donating to Goodwill, they got some money out of it. I came and picked it up from them. I sort through it, and then I take it off their hands. Tip number 2 has to do with, what do you do once you have 450 items of clothing or something like that? You get a huge amount of clothing. What's tip number 2 to get those out quickly? So you've achieved your goal. You've gotten a bunch of clothes before it headed out to garage sales, thrift stores, rummage sales, and you got it excellent prices, really, really good prices. So what do you do now? Are you overwhelmed? So here's my tip. First thing you do is sort through those clothes immediately. Get rid of anything that you do not think that you want to sell or can make enough money for you, or perhaps needs a little more work than you're willing to do. After all, we really do have to make money in what we do. We can't spend our time doing a ton of cleanup work. My special thing that I hate when I sort through clothing is anything that attracts lint or fur very, very easily. The last thing I want to do is sit and use 15 sheets off of a lint roller trying to get it clean. I just donate it away. If I think it's going to attract lint, it's not for me, but that's just me. So I quickly sort those things out, bag up everything that I'm going to take off to the thrift store, and often I take it right then. Tip 3 is separate by size almost immediately. While you're separating by size, make sure to pick out those pieces that you feel are worth quite a bit of money on their own. If they can make you $10, $15, or $20 all by themselves, pull them out and put them aside for later. Next, I pull out a medium flat rate box and I line it with tissue paper. And I decide which items I can fit into that box. So if it gets to the very top and I can close that box, that's my deal. After that, I pull each item out, I steam them, and I lay them out, and I photograph them to be sold as one lot. Thank you for watching, and please, if you have any tips about buying items for cheaper, or getting people to sell you their items before they just take them to the dump, please let me know. I love to get tips by everybody. Just leave them down below in the comments, and as always, keep your eyes open for treasure, and please like and subscribe. And keep your eye out for my next video. Bye.